Most of my time on Top Gear is spent enjoying some of the most powerful and exotic machinery in the world. But today I return to Earth with a bang because they've asked me to investigate the world of the Repmobile. We've picked the 3 best sellers, the 406, the Vectra, the recently revamped Mondeo, and added the latest challenger, the new Primera. And now we're going to pitch them head to head. We've decided on a price limit of £15,000 and we don't want a dull diesel. So what can we afford? Well, you can have a 2-litre engine in the LX Mondeo and the GX Primera, but we have to drop to a 1.8 for both the LX Peugeot and the LS Vectra. But which is the best buy? Well, I'm going to judge them in 4 categories: behind the wheel, security, performance and street cred, and give marks out of 10 for each to try and find an overall winner. Let's start behind the wheel, where you could be sitting for over 1,000 hours a year. It's got to be comfy, controls have to be easy to use. So what are the things I like and the things I don't? Vauxhall have improved the Vectra's driving position by adding new seats and their tilt-table steering adjustment. But whilst that takes it off the knees, it makes it too far away at the top. What you really need is telescopic adjustment, like that on the Ford and the Peugeot. Only the Peugeot has air conditioning. Nissan has the best seats with the most adjustment. We like window switches near the windows. Not on the floor by the gear lever, as in the Vectra. Only the Ford has a heated screen at the rear and the front. The Ford's the only one with a nice armrest and it's got the biggest glove box. The Peugeot, the smartest, while the Vectras won't hold much, but they put a picnic tray on the back of the lid to add to their can holders. When it comes to dashboards and controls, I'm afraid I'm not a fan of the Vectra's half-moon dials, nor its distracting LCD display that glares the date at you in big letters. I find the Peugeot a little dated. The dials are too small and spread too far apart, while the stalks are fiddly affairs. The Nissan has good large round dials, but it's all rather bland. So it's the Ford that makes you feel best sitting behind the wheel. It feels a class above the rest, but they could lose some of the numbers on that Speedo. Marks out of 10? Well, I'll give the Ford 8 and the Peugeot 8, mainly due to its aircon, the Nissan 6 and the Vauxhall 5. When it comes to giving marks for security, we're looking not only at theft resistance, but accident survival and accident avoidance as well. So the Peugeot and the Mondeo got off to a bad start when I tried a demon bit of late braking.
Hasn't it got ABS?
No, it hasn't, and nor has the 406. Surely the time has come when all cars should have this life-saving device fitted as standard. They do all have door beams, anti-submarine seats, seatbelt tensioners and airbags, but only Peugeot supply one for the passenger at this price. All have deadlocks and immobilizers, but the 406 has a numbered keypad that drives you mad. The Vectra and the Mondeo have coded radios with removable fronts, while the Primera and 406 have them built into the dash panel. Sadly, the budget didn't extend to doing any break-in tests, nor any crash testing, so it really is hard to judge them apart in this section. But, taking everything into consideration, I gave both Nissan and Vauxhall 7, Ford 6 and the Peugeot 5. When it comes to performance, the first question always asked is how fast? What's the 0 to 60? Well, with two 2 litres and two 1.8s, we know which are going to be quicker. But it's the Mondeo that stops the clock at 9.4, with the Primera a fraction behind. 2 seconds later, the Peugeot beats the Vectra home. The Mondeo just edges out the Primera for top speed as well, just 1 mile an hour faster at 128. The Vauxhall isn't that far behind, but the 406 trails along some 9 miles an hour slower. But performance figures are only half the story. What you need to know is how well these cars handle, so I gave them all a shakedown on a special test track. Out on our little handling circuit, the Vectra produces the slowest lap time of the four. And that's obviously partly due to the fact that it's only got the 1.8 litre engine, but it's also partly due to the fact it just doesn't handle as well as the others. Now, since the Vectra's original launch, they've done a lot of work on the suspension because it was very bad. But now it's certainly improved. It's stiffer and the change of direction is better. But it still doesn't like being pushed into the corners too quickly. Otherwise, there's pronounced understeer and the car runs wide. Despite having less power, the 406 beats the Vectra by nearly half a second a lap because it outhandles it. I can go into the corners faster with more confidence, no dramatic reaction. It rides the bumps and ripples very well indeed. In fact, I think this 406 suspension is one of the best I've driven. It's just a shame the car hasn't got a bit more power. From the Peugeot to the Ford, you instantly appreciate the increase in power, but the actual handling isn't that much sharper. There's still understeer on the way out, but not as much as the Peugeot. The suspension is stiffer and you suffer slightly because you feel the bumps coming through the suspension more than you did on the Peugeot. And overall, the lap time is only just over half a second faster, which is a bit of a disappointment. It's the Primera that wins the handling competition. It's got the best balanced chassis that can go left and right and come out on a nice neutral line. It's got the nicest gearbox. It's got the most responsive engine that picks up and revs freely. They call it the driver's car, and it certainly lives up to their claim.
Perhaps surprisingly, the Primera is also the most economical, beating both the 1.8 litre machines. Points? There's no doubt the Nissan comes out top here with a deserved 9. The Ford's second on 7, the 406 gets 6, and the Vectra just 4. At the end of a hard day's repping, this is the car that adorns your drive. So will you be keen to wash it down and show it off? Does it have the street cred you desire? Real-life reps in TV's A to B Tales of Modern Motoring looked for one thing, the I badge, because it meant you're important. So have the manufacturers taken the hint? Well, not here on the Ford, nor on the Vectra, though you do get a 16V sign. Plain old 406 on the Peugeot, and just the GX from Nissan. Sorry, but with only 15 grand, you're just not important enough. On overall image, the 406 has to be top of the class. But closely behind is the revamped Mondeo. The bold makeover has certainly freshened up its image. The Primera, although the newest design, seems to attract either praise or derision. While you can park a Vectra on your drive and nobody's going to laugh, but then again, they won't be swooning either. All things considered, for street cred, the 406 gets top marks at 9, the Mondeo 8, and the Vectra and Primera both 6. Add up all the scores on the doors, and the Vectra comes bottom of our league with just 22 points, while the 406 and Primera tie for second on 28. But sneaking to the top in the final round, it's the Mondeo that comes out as the best all-round bet with 29. But that isn't the end of the story. It just isn't as simple as that. Ultimately, car choice is down to individual tastes, and each of these cars has its strong points. My preference is performance, so for me, it has to be the Nissan.